In Myanmar, at least 23 Kachin rebels have died during fighting with government forces. Now, a Kachin spokesman says the army attacked one of its training bases near the city of Liza, that's close to the Chinese border. 15 others were wounded in the attack. Now, the Kachin are one of Myanmar's 8 major ethnic groups. They live predominantly in the hills of the north, near Myanmar's border with China. Now, the Kachin Independence Army, otherwise known as the KIA, was set up in 1961, and they waged a war against the then Burmese state until 1994. Now, initially, the KIA demanded outright independence, but now it's seeking autonomy within a federal Myanmar. Well, since fighting erupted in 2011, thousands have died and more than 100,000 civilians have been displaced. Well, Matthew Boer is a Global Justice Fellow at the Harvard Law School and recently published a report on war crimes in Myanmar. He joins us via Skype from the Thai city of Chiang Mai. Thank you very much, Matthew, for being with us. Now, Myanmar's government has been able to reach a peace agreement with most of the ethnic and rebel groups in the country. Why not the Kachin?
Well, obviously there's big stakes in Kachin State in terms of economic resources, but there's also political demands that are at play. And we don't have all the facts from what happened yesterday, but if it was really an unprovoked attack on a rebel training site very close to the Kachin headquarters, that's really worrisome. And as a human rights advocate, that's worrisome because of the potential impact on the civilian populations in the region.
Just take us through the current scenario now between the Kachin and the current military government. Explain to us, why would there be a target? Why would they target the KIA now? Is there any significance in the timing? Particularly, it comes right after the ASEAN summit that occurred last week.
Well, yeah, obviously it's a really delicate moment in Myanmar at this time, and a delicate moment for the peace process. The Kachin are in negotiations with the government alongside other ethnic armed groups to try to negotiate peace. We don't know what's behind this recent attack, but it is quite worrisome that it's coming so quickly on the heels of the ASEAN summit and at this vital moment in the peace process.
Now, Matthew, Myanmar is still a very young democracy, and many of the parliamentarians are former generals who've been implicated in battles against rebel groups. Do you think they will ever be held responsible for their actions as generals?
So my colleagues and I have just released findings from an investigation into an offensive, a past military offensive in the eastern part of the country. And 3 of the senior commanders that we implicate are currently in very prominent positions in the government and in the military. One of them is the Home Affairs Minister. We know that it's a difficult time, and Myanmar faces difficult and profound decisions right now, but we think there needs to be discussion about accountability, both for past violations and for ongoing human rights abuses.
Matthew, thank you for joining us. Matthew Boer there, a Global Justice Fellow at the Harvard Law School.